Hello, welcome back. So I've done my designer spring fragrances list. Now it's time to get serious. Now it's time for the big boys. If you love fragrances, then you owe it to yourself to not want to smell like every other designer-loving mofo out there. So you better stay tuned because the 10 niche fragrances I'm about to tell you about in this video are gonna blow your mind. Maybe. Well, I like them anyway. If you love fragrance as much as I do, head over to my online store luxparfum.co.uk. You'll find my favourite brands plus brands you can't find anywhere else in the UK. Link is in the description. So spring fragrances, what we're talking bright fragrances, we're talking greens, some florals, some woods. Actually, I think the season of spring has probably the widest parameters when it comes to fragrances. Usually spring fragrances for me are very versatile. A lot of spring fragrances I think I could probably wear all year round. Certainly the ones that I'm about to talk to you about in this list I could easily wear all year round. So I've got 10 stunning spring fragrances to talk about today. Some you might be aware of, some you may not have heard of. The number one fragrance is a pretty new fragrance, so you may not have heard or even smelled this one, so make sure you hang around for that. All right, let's kick it off. I'm intending to keep this video relatively short. So coming in at number 10 from the house of Amouroud is Lunar Vetiver. This is a stupendously good vetiver. It's a little bit on the smoky side, so if you don't like that smoky vetiver, then this one might be a little too much for you. In fact, it is quite an intense fragrance, but because of that, it has superb performance. Vetiver fragrances don't come much better than this one. To me, this fragrance is a formal, ass-kicking kind of fragrance. At number 9, you couldn't write it. Well, actually you could because it's the writer from St. Giles Fine Fragrance. This has a spiky greenness. It's got this really interesting tree sap kind of piney quality, which I really love. It is quite an intense fragrance, so you only want to wear this if you want to stand out, if you want to get noticed, if you want to make a statement. You know, maybe not everyone wants that. Maybe some people just like to wear their fragrances for themselves and they don't care what anybody else thinks. Fine, that's good for you. That's all right. Well done. But if you want to stand out and you want to get noticed and you want to wear it so other people know when you've walked in the room, you want to be the boss, then this is that sort of fragrance. Big kick of rosemary for me. This one is not for the bubblegum loving clubbers. This is a big boys and girls fragrance. Okay, coming in at number 8. If you like natural things, you're gonna love this fragrance. I prefer natural all the way. I can't stand things that are too fake, that have had man-made chemicals pumped into them. Natural all the way for me. That's why I love Acqua di Parma's Colonia Futura, because would you believe it, this is comprised of 99% naturals. Great stuff, Acqua di Parma, love it. And surprisingly, this is a fragrance that isn't talked about quite as much as some of the other Acqua di Parmas. This is one of their newer ones. I could talk all day about its crisp citruses and its aromatic lavender, but this one is best described by saying if you took the original Acqua di Parma Colonia and Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum, clashed them together, what you would get is one big, beautiful, gentlemanly explosion of pure class. And Acqua di Parma Colonia Futura. It's the future. At number 7, from one of my favourite indie brands, imaginary authors, it's the Cobra and the Canary. I've not really talked about this fragrance much on my channel, so I'm going to do it now because I love it. This is indie perfumery at its finest. You won't find another smell quite like this one. Citruses and orris bring the spring. Leather and asphalts bring something else. So yeah, this is a unique fragrance. I would go as far as to say weird, but wearable. Very wearable. Number 6 is from Turkish brand Nishane. This one is Hatchivat. So this is Aventus-like at first, but then it quickly dives much deeper into the oak moss. It's fruity and green. It's got massive performance. Chypres typically work well in the spring, and Hatchivat is no exception. If current Aventus ain't doing it for you, this will. Number 5 is one of my favourites from the brand Hiram Green. It's called Arbolé. This is green and powdery patchouli, all sweetened with vanilla. Very smooth, very classy and quite classic smelling. Actually, it's incredible quality, totally unisex. With the stunning Arbolé, Hiram is definitely putting the green into spring. Yeah. Number 4 is from Rogue Perfumery, and this one gets a lot of love. It's Mousse Illuminee. This is a throwback to 80s powerhouse men's fragrances. They don't make them like this anymore unless your name's Manuel Cross. So this is neon lit green molecules boosted by frankincense and anchored with a deep woody base. Illuminate the room with this beast mode spring treat. At number 3, it's a beauty from Soma Parfums. This one is Viride. With this, you get classic barbershop goodness. All the big balling aromatic notes are here, like lavender, oak moss, sandalwood. Do yourself a favor, take my advice, put on a nice suit, cover yourself in Viride, and be the baller that you know you are. At number 2, I'm talking about Gallagher fragrances and one of their latest, Rosé Noir. This is kind of like an apple dessert blended expertly with rose. And if you're thinking, maybe it sounds a little too sweet for me, maybe it's not manly enough or doesn't have enough depth or gravitas, well, leather and oud bring a no f***s given attitude to this one. Big stuff from Gallagher. I think they knocked it out of the park. At number 1, have you ever been to Sweden? Me neither, so why not spray it all over yourself? From Swedoft, this is Sweden. Yet another big old room filler. Wear this one on a plane, you'll have to book an extra seat. We've got caramel, spices, fruits, and that Swedish alder, which is a green leafy shrubby thing in the heart of this one. Make it a spring king. Kind of reminds me a little bit of MFK's Oud Satin Mood. There's no rose listed in this. It's not exactly the same, but trust me, just as good. So here we are, my niche Spring Kings. I will leave links to these in the description if you're interested in picking any of these up. What do you think of these? Have you tried them? Do you like these? Do you think they're worthy of a place in a spring list? If not, let me know what your favorite spring fragrances are. I would love to hear from you in the comments because I always read the lists of fragrances that you put in the comments because that's good engagement, and I always do that. I read them every time. I do. So if you liked the video, if you found it useful, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, I will see you in the next one. Leave a comment, I'll read it.